Hi, and welcome to First Timers Movie Club. I'm
Patrick Poe.
And I'm Lolo Loren.
Sorry for interrupting you there.
Oh, no, that's quite all right. I paused because I wasn't sure if I should go first or you should go first. And so that,
Well, yeah, because, the last couple times we said hello and welcome to the club, and they were the First Timers Movie Club.
Yeah.
We don't have a real intro figured out,
guys.
No,
we clearly don't. But yeah, this is the podcast where we make people watch movies they've never seen for the first time ever and give their immediate reaction.
Exactly. That is what we are.
Yeah. Which is awesome. I don't know.
Cool. Well, at the top, we always remind you, subscribe, review.
Please do.
All those fun things.
Please.
We love it so much. If you really love us, go over to our Patreon.
Yeah.
We are going to soon have a Patreon exclusive episode of the podcast.
We are. I'm really excited for this one. Are we going to tell them what it is or just make them go?
I was just going to talk about it.
We're just going to talk about it? Okay.
I don't know when it's coming out yet. I think it's going to come out a little bit later.
Okay.
Yes, we have that. We've already recorded, and we have some other ideas that might end up going on the Patreon page.
Yeah.
So go jump over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/ixfilmproductions, or you can go to ixfilmproductions.com and click the Patreon link.
Yep.
These videos will be at the $1 level, right?
Yeah.
The podcast episodes. Yeah, exactly. So that's all you need. $12 in a whole year, you get a bunch of cool exclusive content.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then we have $12 more to buy cool props and make more cool shit.
Yeah.
And rent more movies to watch for this.
Exactly. All sorts of things. Get better gear for this. All sorts of stuff. Maybe make merch someday.
Oh, man.
We've been talking about merch for so long.
Yeah. I want it so bad.
Yeah. Cool. Well, do you want to talk about some housekeeping from the past episodes that we need to talk about?
Yes.
There's a fair amount today.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, I've got some notes.
Okay.
Because I've been kind of fact checking us as we edit these episodes.
Thank you.
And also thinking about the things that maybe we said offhanded and didn't really clarify.
Gotcha.
So the first thing I want to kind of talk about is you offhandedly said that's fridge logic.
Yes, I did.
And we don't really talk about what fridge logic is. So
we don't.
I think we should give our listeners
that. So fridge logic, did you check it? Can you correct me if I'm wrong in where it came from or not?
No, because that's your term.
Okay. Fridge logic, what I've heard, what I've been told, I don't know if this is just
that's fine.
Myth, is that fridge logic is a term coined by Alfred Hitchcock to describe things that happened in his film that didn't necessarily make logical sense, or that were what we would call plot holes is a more common phrase, that he was it doesn't matter because it's not big enough to take him out of the moment while watching the movie. It's something that later, while standing in front of the refrigerator, they might go, wait a minute. But if it doesn't take him out of the moment in the film, he doesn't care if it's a little bit of fridge logic.
Exactly. It's not a traditional plot hole in the fact that you're they didn't talk about that immediately. But if you think about the film a lot. So that's fridge logic.
Yes.
I wanted to mention that. We also discussed the Golden Globes and when they started to exist and whether they existed. And that was kind of fun doing a little Golden Globes history because the Golden Globes just happened last week.
They did.
And we watched them and it was really fun.
It was.
I thought it was really great to see all the people in their homes with their puppies and their friends and family. It was actually kind of more fun almost.
It was, I don't know if it was fun just because it was different, nothing we've never seen before, but it was really cool. I mean, I love seeing people's puppies, so that's just...
It felt less fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the Golden Globes are this long, boring ceremony.
Yeah.
But this felt like when you get to see the clips at the Academy Awards of the is it the documentary or the shorts people that they're all a video in their room. They're "Pah!"
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like that, and I really liked that.
I dig that. Yeah, it was really fun.
But I did look up if the Golden Globes existed when Citizen Kane came out.
Yeah.
The answer was no.
Oh, okay.
The first Golden Globes were January 20th, 1944.
Okay.
It was put on by the same people that do now, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which is a collection of foreign film journalists.
Gotcha.
Not journalists about foreign films, but journalists
about
who
films.
Talk about films from the globe. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Which is why it's kind of nonsense that they don't, out of 80 members, they don't have a single black member right now. Which is what they're talking about the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
That you'd think in the whole world,
of film journalists.
there'd be at least one black film journalist that wanted to be on the Hollywood Foreign Press Association.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are many that want to.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well,
Get on it, Hollywood Foreign Press.
They said they were going to get on it, so we'll see what next year's like.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
So they started the Golden Globes, though. I think that this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. They started the Golden Globes as a way to distract from the war.
Huh.
It was like, World War II is really gloomy and shitty.
What?
Let's put on another award show like the Academy Awards to kind of just ignore the shitty stuff and celebrate some good art that exists.
Gotcha.
So that's why the Golden Globes exist.
All right.
But they didn't exist in 40 when Citizen Kane came out.
Gotcha.
We talked about Orson Welles a bit, and it was really like depressing-y stuff.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah. He did make Touch of Evil also still.
Oh, yeah.
That was in 58, though.
Oof. Okay.
And it wasn't a studio film. He funded it. And a lot of people think it's even better.
Okay.
Including some of our friends.
Okay. Well, we should watch that sometime.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
So we do have a friend who is a filmmaker who thinks it's one of his favorite films and is better than Citizen Kane.
Well, when it's safer, we should have him on to show it to us.
I agree. I mentioned that there was a film that Wells filmed and never finished. Mm-hmm. That film is called The Other Side of the Wind. Okay. It came out in 2018.
Oh, okay.
It was finished by a studio. They edited it together. There is a finished version of it.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So
very cool.
Go check out The Other Side of the Wind if you're into Wells. I also got called out.
Yeah?
By a fan of this podcast.
Oh,
that is your father.
Oh, yeah. You did. That happened. For good reason, though.
For not mentioning that Orson Welles is in the Muppet movie. He's got a cameo in that. And apparently that was...
the most important piece of trivia about Orson Welles.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't even mention...
I do apologize.
that he's worked with the Muppets.
I apologize to you, Lolo. I apologize to our guest, Amber. I apologize to all of our listeners.
Excellent.
That was a huge oversight.
I'm really glad you addressed that.
Yeah, I really... It's hard to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you make a mistake, you just have to say it.
Yeah. I think always it's good policy.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, that was my mistake.
Okay.
Apocalypse Now is an adaptation of Heart of Darkness also.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there's that. Heart of Darkness. I did find it interesting, though, because Apocalypse Now is a Vietnam War film. And Heart of Darkness was written before Citizen Kane was made. So you have to, put that all into your brain.
Gotcha.
So Apocalypse
they
Now...
took a war book and made it about a more... No?
Heart of Darkness isn't really even about war.
Oh, okay.
Necessarily.
I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's what's kind of impressive, learning about reading about Heart of Darkness and what it is, and then realizing what Apocalypse Now is.
I haven't actually even seen Apocalypse Now, so.
Yeah, neither have I.
Okay, cool.
So once again, we need a friend. Hopefully we have lots of well-versed in film friends that will show us more movies.
I have a feeling we do.
Good. All right, that gets us to our movie today.
Okay.
Today, we're watching Goodfellas.
Yay.
Which I have seen.
And I have not seen.
Okay, so how have you not seen Goodfellas?
I don't know. There's a lot of movies in the world, and I feel like I have seen a good handful of Scorsese films.
Well, before we even get to that, I want to talk about the fact that I think you've seen pieces of this movie.
I think I have 2. I've seen moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know I watched it with a friend.
And I came home from work halfway through, realized it was halfway through, and then was in and out of the room doing other stuff.
And then there was another time where I feel there's actually 2 different moments that I remember showing you.
Oh.
I don't know I don't remember what one of them is. Mm-hmm. I just feel like we watched...
I think you're right.
A piece of it.
This is ringing a bell.
And then one of the famous things that I'll ruin it for you, because I'm pretty sure you've seen it.
Yeah.
Is the long shot there's a famous long shot of them walking into the club through the back of the club. That's a pretty famous shot. And I feel like we've watched that.
I think so. Yeah, I think we've watched moments to research for other stuff we were doing.
We watched like that, and we watched the Children of Men long shot where he gets like in the car and out of the car.
Yes.
And there was a bit where we were like into these
long shots for some reason. Why were we doing that?
Because we're film nerds and it was cool.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I've seen pieces, and I think my biggest concern with watching this movie is I'm very concerned it's been overhyped for me. I really feel like I've known too many people who've been like, oh, Goodfellas, there's a Scorsese. And now it's just, there's no, like, I'm like, I just don't know if I'm going to like it.
Well, you've seen The Godfather.
Yes, I love The Godfather. It's the kind of movie where you might think it's right up my alley because, like, I love The Godfather. I love Scarface.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that, which is so funny.
And you make fun of me every time.
So that's such a funny sentence, and I love that you said that together.
I know that's not a mafia film.
Well, I know, but John Mulaney has a joke that literally is like, it goes almost like, I don't get people that are like, I like good movies like Godfathers and Scarface. And he's like, Scarface isn't a good movie. And he does this whole thing about how like Godfather, great, good movie. But then you can't put them on the same page.
I wasn't putting them on the same level personally, but that's a funny joke. I was just saying that I like.
Yeah, no, I know.
Tonally.
And yeah, have you seen much Scorsese?
I think so.
I was trying to I went through his filmography.
Yeah.
And I found what I think you've seen.
Okay.
I know of two because we watched them together.
Okay.
And you watched them because I made you.
Cool.
Which is Wolf on Wall Street.
Yep.
And The Irishman.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I wasn't even sure you've seen other Scorsese
So now
films.
I'm scared to name films because I am not I'm not good at remembering things. So I'm concerned I'm going to start naming films and they're not going to be Scorsese films.
Well, I've got 3 films on a list here that I think are films you may have seen that are his.
Okay.
Just knowing like you and kind of knowing what you've seen. And one of these I'm like almost certain you've seen.
Okay.
Have you seen Shutter Island?
No.
Okay. You did watch The Departed though.
Yes.
Because you watched the original Infernal Affairs.
Yes.
Got it. What'd you...
It was good.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, of those like 3, and then the last one is Aviator.
Is that DiCaprio?
Yeah.
I think so, yes.
There's
maybe
a scene in that movie, in Aviator, that has stuck with me since I saw it as a child. And I don't know why. And I think it's because it's just like, in a weird way, it's like overly like the situation is more dramatic than most things. Yeah. But I think the scene itself kind of explains like the small anxieties that hinder life. And that's the scene in the bathroom where he can't open the door because he's a germaphobe and he can't touch the doorknob and there's out of toilet paper.
Yeah, I've seen The Aviator.
There's the whole scene where he's like in the bathroom and I'm like, that seems so relatable to
me. Yeah. I think that movie was too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So knowing that's kind of your baseline, what are you expecting Goodfellas to be? What are your expectations?
Long.
Okay.
Which may be rude. I don't know.
So you think it's going to be a little too long? You think it's a little overhyped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like it could be I don't know. I'm like not excited to watch this movie.
You don't think you're going to like it?
I don't think I'm going to like it. I don't have a whole lot of logic behind that. I just don't think this one's going to be for me. I'm curious to see if I'm wrong, but
okay. Well, do you want to know a bunch of trivia about the time it came out?
Yeah, tell me a little bit about it. See if I get excited or not.
So it came out in 1990.
Okay.
The top 10 films of 1990. It's not on that list.
Oh, cool.
Some of the big ones that matter, like Ghost is number 1.
Ah, okay.
Pretty Woman's up there. Dances with Wolves. Total Recall, which I love and I want to do an episode about, but I've already shown you Total Recall.
Yeah.
So we have to find someone that I can show Total Recall because I love it so much. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which I've already shown you.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Good stuff.
And
Good year.
Yeah, and another movie that I'm absolutely in love with is number 10 that I've also shown you, and we need to get on somebody. Kindergarten Cop.
Oh.
Arnold's got 2 movies.
That was an incredible movie. Wow. Look
Yeah.
at Arnold go.
He's killing 1990.
Whoa.
Yeah, so love it. Love 1990. Great time in films.
Yeah.
Back to the Future Part 3 was on this list. Like, it's a great year. Which confused me for a second because I was like, wasn't Back to the Future on the Bill and Ted's list? But that was 89. And that was Back to the Future Part 2.
Gotcha.
They came out back-to-back years.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They really just...
I think once they knew 1 was good, they were just like, let's crank out these other 2.
A bunch. Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. That was smart.
Goodfellas was made for about $25 million.
Okay.
Grossed 47.
Okay.
So it did good.
Yeah. It was not a failure.
No, not at all.
Financially.
Rotten Tomatoes calls it the high point of Martin Scorsese's career, which feels like a rude thing to say.
That does feel really rude to... It's been 30 years and they say that's the high point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a thing.
Well, now I feel like whatever I say after seeing the movie will not be as rude as that. As saying the high point of someone's career was 30 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know.
Cool.
It was nominated
Uh-huh.
for 6 Academy Awards,
Okay.
including Best Picture and Best Director.
Okay, so it wasn't like a huge box office thing, but it was a big award show movie when it came out.
Joe Pesci won for Best Supporting Actor.
I see. That's one of the things is that I feel like I've just heard so much about this movie, and I've had so many people be like, "Oh my God, Joe Pesci and not Goodfellas, it's Joe Pesci." So now I'm like, man, like I love Joe Pesci, but is he gonna live up to years of people being like, "Oh my God, Joe Pesci and Goodfellas" when they talk about filmmaking?
I don't know for you.
Yeah.
I do know that Joe Pesci has the 6th shortest Oscar acceptance speech
Okay.
in the Academy Award history.
Fun.
And that was, "It's my privilege. Thank you."
Oh. And that was the 6th shortest?
The shortest is just "Thank you" from Patty Duke in 1963 for winning Best Supporting Actress for The Miracle Worker.
Oh. Okay. All right. Respect.
Joe Pesci says his was so short because he literally didn't think there was a chance he was going to win.
Yeah.
So he had not prepared a speech at all. So instead of being one of the weird ramblers,
Yeah.
he just said, "It's my privilege. Thank you."
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No.
You should cut this. This was just like Lolo was like, this is such a terrible podcast for me to do because I have no memory. Joe Pesci is Lethal Weapon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's on my list of things
Oh, okay.
to talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, you can just cut this bit and you can just get there.
I'm not gonna.
Oh, you're not going to cut this?
No.
Oh, well, I just realized Joe Pesci was Lethal Weapon. And then I was like, oh, I bet he will live up to the hype. Because I just want to be as wonderfully nonsense as Joe Pesci in Lethal Weapon. That's like my goal in life.
Yeah, I mean, we have a word in our
We do.
in our famicon. Is that what I said? No, what was the word?
Oh.
Familect.
Familect.
So
yes.
familect is a word that means the words that you use within your family that aren't real vocabulary words.
Or within your small bubble community. Or yeah.
So we'll share our familect with you guys because you're part of our familect now.
Yes.
We have a word that is goblet.
Yes.
It is a word that describes small people with a high amount of like BDE is really the best way to put it, which is BD is big dick energy.
Which came from a goblin, but a small goblin, so a goblet.
Yeah.
A baby goblin.
A baby goblin is a goblet. It is a high honor in our group. We consider Lolo one of the goblets.
Yes.
Joe Pesci is the ultimate
He's
goblet.
definitely a goblet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's this small dude with just like the ferocity of a 30-foot dragon.
Pretty much.
Like, so Joe Pesci's one of our goblet icons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, there's Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
The movie itself, though, Goodfellas,
Yeah.
did not win any Academy Awards besides Joe Pesci's.
Okay.
Out of the 6 it was nominated for, it pretty much lost to Dances with Wolves
Oh,
on every
that makes sense.
occasion.
Yeah.
Which we'll have to find someone that's seen that movie, I guess.
Yeah.
It did kill at the BAFTAs, though.
Oh, okay.
Goodfellas.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
they liked it there.
They swept the floor at the BAFTAs.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, which is the British Academy of Film and Television Awards, if you're curious. This film is entered into the National Film Registry by the U.S. Library of Congress.
Okay.
It was entered in 2000. That was weird to say without an and.
Yeah. 2000 and nothing.
Which I couldn't remember off the top of my head which other episode we had that.
Gone with the Wind.
Was it? Okay.
I think.
I know it was one that you hosted, so it was either Gone with the Wind or Titanic.
Titanic.
It was Titanic.
It was Titanic, yeah.
Cool.
That's good. That's the better film to be historian. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, carry on.
According to Siskel, Ebert, and Travers, which at this point they were a threesome in 90.
Not just a twosome anymore.
No. This is the best film of 1990.
Oh, okay.
So
they liked it better than Dances with Wolves.
I mean, this is the best film of 1990. They liked it better than Kindergarten Cop, which is insane to me.
That's really weird. There's no way this movie's better than Kindergarten Cop.
I agree. It was number 92 on AFI's Top 100 in 2007. I don't know if it's still on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah. My research gave me 2007.
Okay.
It's number 2 on AFI's best gangster films of all time.
Under Godfather?
Obviously under Godfather.
And above what? Just like
I didn't even really look.
You know, I was just like wondering what those like top 3 movies
I
are.
looked at AFI's top 10 lists and then didn't even think.
Oh no, that's okay.
I apologize.
I didn't mean to ask you a question you were unprepared for.
Oh man.
Make you look bad.
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
This is an interesting thing as filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
In 2012, the Motion Picture Editors Guild listed this as the 15th best edited film of all time.
Really?
Yeah. I don't have the other numbers on that list. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I wasn't going to ask for those.
But it's good to know as editors ourselves.
Yeah.
That this is...
Evidently, this is how you should edit.
Yeah, editors
according
say
to them.
this is how you should edit.
Okay.
Because
we believe in shoulds.
Yeah. This is number 20 on BBC's 100 Greatest American Films of All Time.
Okay.
Which kind of follows up Citizen Kane funnily because it's number 1 on that list.
Yeah.
This is 15. We skipped numbers 2 through 14.
Okay, that's fine.
The creator of The Sopranos, David Chase, says this is the inspiration for The Sopranos.
Oh, all right.
Which is also kind of funny because the lead actress in this, she then is the psychologist in The Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
Because she didn't want to play to type, but they offered her a role, and she's like, I want to be this other type.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's all the awards this film has.
Okay.
I've got some information about where these people were in their careers at the time, which, because you mentioned Joe Pesci, we'll start there. Joe Pesci was already Joe Pesci.
Okay.
He'd already been in Lethal Weapon 2 as Leo Getz.
Gotcha.
So he's Joe Pesci.
He's already incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Because
the ultimate goblet already, because he's done Lethal Weapon 2.
Yes. He's so good in the Lethal Weapon movies.
He is.
He's so much fun. So that's Joe Pesci.
Yes.
Martin Scorsese. Just because this boggled my brain, he has 69 directing credits on IMDb. Starting from 1959 to today.
Yeah.
He's directed almost 70 films.
Yeah.
Since 60 to today, which is 60 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Good job, Martin Scorsese.
It's incredible.
That's
all I want to do. Just.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd already done a lot of the big movies. He'd already done Mean Streets, which that was kind of his first big break.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver.
Okay.
I have these lists. Taxi Driver with De Niro. New York, New York with De Niro. Raging Bull with De Niro. King of Comedy with De Niro. Last Temptation of Christ. Him and De Niro had already done 6 films.
Gotcha.
But like he'd already done all those huge films. Like he was already huge. He'd said he was never going to do a gangster film again. And then he got the film rights to the book this is based on.
Gotcha.
And boom. Bada bing, bada boom. We got a gangster movie.
Gotcha.
Obviously, De Niro's already De Niro because, like, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, like,
Yeah.
all the ones that
De Niro's very much De Niro already with
Exactly.
this movie.
This though is Ray Liotta's big break.
Okay.
Before this, he'd done a bunch of TV.
Okay.
He did a role as a lead in a like indie-ish film I'd never heard of that I didn't write the name down of.
Okay.
And he was a bit role in Field of Dreams.
Oh, okay.
But like, and no,
So this really launched Ray Liotta.
100%. And reading
Okay.
all the trivia, nobody really wanted him except kind of Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
And there were a lot of big names they were looking at.
For his role.
For Ray Liotta's role.
Oh.
And Scorsese saw him in Field of Dreams and was like, that's my Henry Hill.
Jeez. Okay.
In the bit role in Field of Dreams, was like, that's Henry Hill.
Oh.
I need to talk with him. And then eventually when they like met to talk, it was at an award show, or no, at a film festival that Scorsese was screening Last Temptation of Christ. And he'd had some death threats. So he had like 6 bodyguards or something crazy.
Yeah.
And Liotta like came up to him and was trying to like talk to him like, yeah, I can do this movie. Like I can do Henry Hill. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole time, apparently the bodyguards kept trying to like shove him away. And Scorsese really liked how he handled himself. He was like, that's how Henry Hill should do it. So that's him. That's my Henry Hill.
That's hilarious.
So that's all that.
Wow. Okay.
I guess I'll tell you, because I kind of talked about it, the movie's based on a book
Yes.
called Wise Guys.
Oh, okay.
The book Wise Guys is a true story that's more a autobiography, or not an autobiography, because that's written by themselves. It's a biography
Gotcha.
about a handful of different guys in the mob.
Oh, okay.
Then Scorsese got the rights from, and so all that.
Gotcha.
So it's a true story.
Gotcha.
The movie you're about to watch.
Okay, cool.
Henry Hill is a real person.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So are we just about ready to watch this then?
If you're excited, did I do my job? Did I get you excited?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
I know that you're not
I've got,
super, and I'm intrigued because I
don't know. Like, I'm curious to see if I'll actually love it after this, because I love me a good gangster crime.
I'm also curious how I'm going to feel about it.
Yeah. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, because you know a lot of my feelings about this film already.
Yeah.
So I'll say them because it shouldn't.
Yeah, because
cloud
we've talked
your-
about it before. Yeah, because you've seen it before.
I've seen it twice,
Yeah.
and it didn't really catch me in the way that like I feel like it should have.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it was where I was at in my life, or the time, like
Yeah.
the mind I was sitting in when I watched it, or if it just isn't my kind of movie. And that's okay if it's just not for me.
Yeah.
But I'm
Not every
intrigued
movie's
to,
for every person.
yeah, I'm intrigued to see it with you, and I'm intrigued to see if it hits me different.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch it this time, though.
Cool. Well, let's watch this movie. Should we have any snacks with
Not
this
only do
one?
I made dinner.
Ooh.
So we've got pasta with the Bolognese sauce, which is a red meat sauce.
Nice.
And I made I tried to like I said, I themed it around Goodfellas.
Oh.
I tried.
Uh-huh.
We'll see how it came out.
Okay.
I don't know if it worked.
What'd you do?
Because you're gluten free,
Yeah.
but I wanted to make something that like seemed cute.
Uh-huh.
I tried to make, and I made, I guess they exist. We'll taste them. I made gluten-free cannolis.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they're in the kitchen. I haven't let you in the kitchen all day.
That is true. He is not. I was coming home from work, and I called him to tell him I was coming home from work, and he was like, when you come in the house, you can't come in the kitchen. I was like, Okay.
Yeah, it's because I've been working these gluten-free cannolis.
Oh my gosh.
They seem pretty okay.
Okay. What a glowing endorsement.
Yeah. I mean, they look really good. I think they're a little doughier than I feel like a cannoli dough should be.
Okay. Oh, but for your first try at making cannolis and trying to make them gluten-free, I think we'll forgive
Thank you.
that
I
doughiness.
appreciate your forgiveness.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so we'll have some spaghetti and
Cannolis.
Cannolis.
That sounds lovely. Let's watch Goodfellas.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Let's do this.
Let's put it in. Come get on mic. You've now seen Goodfellas. I'm getting a pretty good look from Miss Lolo Loren over here. She doesn't know what to say. Was it what you expected? Kinda.
Yeah, I mean, having seen like his other work, I think like he's definitely got an aesthetic and a style that.
So what's interesting is personally, I like the style of the film a lot. And I actually think that this is kind of a funny thing because it wasn't on purpose in any way, considering we hadn't seen the film. I think that Mr. Lee follows a similar style, like our film.
Yeah?
I do. With the dialogue and with the title cards and just like the style of storytelling. Like, honestly, I wish we'd had seen Goodfellas.
Had seen it. Maybe we could have done it better.
And could have leaned more into it.
Yeah.
But I don't personally love the story.
Yeah. Which is interesting because it is based on a true story. I don't know how much is like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a pretty real story.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the problem, is because it's real, it's confined to some of those realities.
Yeah.
And Henry Hill isn't necessarily a character that's likable.
No.
And his journey isn't that interesting in a weird way. Because, like, yeah, I mean, he's a gangster who does bad things, and then bad things happen to him, and then he rats on everyone.
I wasn't bored. Because it was like a very well shot, great acting, a lot of very witty dialogue, good writing, the style in which it was conveyed with the narration and the title. Like it was a fascinating, like I was never bored, but I was also never surprised.
Yeah, I think on third watch through, I feel like the acting is good, the directing is good, the editing is good.
Yeah. But
like just inherently the narrative is
there's a bad guy, he does bad things, so bad things happen to him, but not really ever.
Nothing that bad.
It's kind of just like Wolf on Wall Street, that there's a bad guy and he does bad things and then nothing happens to him. Yeah, and there aren't even any repercussions. Like realistically, like in that he goes to prison, but they're like, yeah, but it's fine.
And at the end of it, he's a public speaker.
Yeah, and then in this, like he gets a nice house in the suburbs. He doesn't want it, but he's not like. And stylistically,
Scorsese does the same thing with both films, and he does it well. And so it's obviously not for us. It's not the film for us. I do wonder what it is about these films that do connect with so many people and so many of the males I know. I think part of it is the desire to have that power.
Yeah.
But personally watching it, I don't, similar to Citizen Kane, like, there are those moments where you're like, oh my God, he's like, oh, I'll go out of business in 60 years. And you're like, that's a fucking dope line. Like, that's so cool. He's so baller.
Yeah.
But then, like, oh, but he is a bad person.
Yeah. So.
And then I just can't like it at that point. If you have to be a bad person to have that life, I don't want it. Just
to really unfairly compare Goodfellas to Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
To take this very good gangster film, but then unfairly compare it to what is considered like the best movie ever made, if you will.
Yeah.
By a lot of people. The difference, and this is the same problem I had from like my experience of Wolf on Wall Street, which I know I've heard.
Now you've broke my brain.
Now you're doubting.
Yeah, you fully broke my brain.
Which I know I've heard that Martin Scorsese, I always doubt myself when I say
Scorsese, I'm pretty sure.
Said that in his mind that film is a tragedy. So like, I'm not saying like what he intended with that film. I'm saying what I walked away with was
Wolf
that
of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
What
I walked away with, my experience after seeing Wolf of Wall Street, was not a tragedy. It was a kind of not tragedy in a way that bothered me from my perspective, which I know he said wasn't what he thought he made.
It wasn't his intention.
That was just my experience of it. And so similarly with this, it was kind of like, what was the like narrative or point? Because like it felt like, again, like the bad guy did bad things, had a crazy and like it wasn't, nothing really happened. Versus like Citizen Kane, I think in that film Orson Welles had a very similar bad guy who seems really cool, that he makes you like, though, takes you on this journey, and then I think it feels so tragic and really paints it as being a horrible thing to do and a horrible way to live your life and not worth it at all. I feel like it's an unquestionable, from my experience.
I just had 3 interesting thoughts off of that.
Yeah.
The first thought is, man, and I want to kind of hit on all of them, but the first thought is, I think the tragedy of Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street is actually not the character's arc.
Yeah.
To me, the tragedy is that in America, these people feel like they have to do this to get ahead. You know what I mean? Like, that's almost, it's not the tragedy of their lives. It's the tragedy of the American situation. And that these people feel like they need to steal to get ahead because the other option is like death to them. And I understand that idea because that's where I feel about filmmaking is like, I feel like I have to do this because the other option is just terrible.
Yeah.
But so that's one thought. My other thought about Citizen Kane and comparing it to films like these tragic things.
It's a similar story arc.
Yeah. It's about a male figure who gains a lot of power through dubious methods and then uses them to ultimately get nothing.
Yeah.
But I think the 2 things is, one, Orson Welles was able to focus on his fictional dead character.
Yes.
That then allowed him to change the narrative enough to make it more interesting. And the story isn't about that character anymore. He created a mystery out of it, where both Wolf of Wall Street and Goodfellas, there isn't an inciting incident.
Yes.
Because it is just the layout of a man's life who, when he was interviewed for writing the book about his life, was at a fine place.
Yeah.
So I think those are the difficulties that Scorsese faces in both of those pictures. Goodfellas.
Which was a choice he made, though, to not do something like Orson Welles did, even and be inspired by truth and write a fiction.
Yeah.
He chose, which is interesting, and clearly a lot of people, like, it's a good film, but it is interesting to me that he chose, for some reason, this style of storytelling spoke to him, to choose to not have the ability to create a more meaningful, poignant, or like to just tell more documentary style, but with more flair,
Yeah.
a story.
So I think that comes from, personally, I think where that comes from for Scorsese is where he comes from in filmmaking. Being a indie New York filmmaker.
Yeah.
Where the American style at the time was showing life, with air quotes is what I did.
Yeah.
Because it was about showing reality. And like his first films were very documentary-esque of like what him and his friends were experiencing in New York City.
Gotcha.
And him and his parents and him and the girls he's dating. Like that's what the early stuff he was making was.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of takes that into other narratives about showing like this is a life. I don't think he wants to, with Wolf of Wall Street or with Goodfellas, tell you, or even The Irishman, honestly, tell you how you should feel about that life or the actions that take place within it. It's just, this is a person's life. This is the event. It is almost a documentary, and he has made documentary films that are very successful, mostly about musicians, but he is interested in the documentary style.
Yeah. So that's just always been the thing that was what he connected with.
Yeah.
It was more that narrative style of storytelling.
Yeah. And so I think it doesn't work for you and me because that's not what we want. We kind of want.
It's just not my style.
Yeah.
I want something. I personally am drawn to things that are a little bit more pointed and a little bit more shaped to have a more distinct purpose that I don't have to interpret and think of myself out of your vague story.
Yeah. I mean, I like to be able to watch a movie and go, okay, what was that about? What was the director telling me? And in Goodfellas, he's telling you Henry Hill's life.
Yes.
But and to talk about that even, he even kind of breaks the narrative, I just lost the word, not through line, but,
non-linear.
Yeah, he breaks the linear storytelling at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I think it is just because he's worried that if he just opens with I always wanted to be a gangster and it's just slowly this man's life, you wouldn't keep sitting there for 2.5 hours. So he starts with the murder.
Yeah.
But then, because the murder isn't what the movie's about, really.
No.
Some things in it of what Joe Pesci does leads to some other actions, but and the murder of Billy Batts is obviously important.
Yeah.
But it's not like the inciting
it gets
incident.
Joe Pesci killed, but it doesn't really.
Which starts the divide between.
But he was already doing the drug game separate from that he wasn't supposed to be doing.
It doesn't start the divide between Paulie and him. I think it starts the divide between him and De Niro's character.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think the thing that drew them together
was Pesci's character.
Yeah.
Who was as good as... I mean, I think he's great, so...
So the movie was up for Best Screenplay at the Oscars.
Uh-huh.
And it was one of the things that you said was the screenplay is great. A lot of the scenes are improvised. So Nicholas Pileggi and Scorsese did write a script together, obviously.
Yeah.
And it was based on Pileggi's book, Wise Guys. Pileggi had a contact with Henry Hill. They were in close contact with each other.
Gotcha.
But Scorsese really loves that feeling of reality.
Yeah.
So he really wanted them to just improvise. And certain things that are very, very famous moments are fully improvised moments or moments that
I've heard that before.
Rewrote out of stories from Pesci and De Niro and all of them chatting on set.
Yeah.
You think I'm funny? In what way am I funny?
I mean, I thought maybe that's seemed very...
Well, so that happened to Pesci. Pesci was apparently working at a restaurant where some mob guys hung out, and he thought he was complimenting this dude and was like, man, you're really funny.
Oh.
And this mob guy almost killed him, he thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I was just I don't know, So that happened to Pesci, and so then he told that story to Scorsese, and Scorsese made it into a scene. But it is funny that everyone talks about how great the script is for a script that a lot of it.
But it's not.
No,
I'm joking. I'm joking. The actors are.
No, they're incredible. They are. But yeah, I mean, so that's Goodfellas. It's highly regarded by a lot of the guys we know too, and the style is cool. I like a lot of the freeze frames. I like the narration.
I can see why the editing has been praised as being top notch.
Yes. Sure. Yeah. The editing, the sound is just like incredible. And like there is that moment at the beginning I really love. I honestly wish they didn't have the opening scene because I love that moment where he goes, I always wanted to be a gangster. That catches me way more than the car ride.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a very engaging
opening.
Is it Ray Liotta?
Yeah.
Ray Liotta is very strong, very engaging through all of his narration. And I mean, his acting's phenomenal as well. But like narration is like a weird, finicky thing in a movie. He's very engaging.
According to the trivia on the film, Ray Liotta actually asked if he could do the narration like it was a scene, and so it's all delivered to another person in the room.
Oh, interesting.
So he memorized the lines and he delivered it to a person like he was telling the story. And I think that did great results.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
So I think we should do that if we're I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say about Goodfellas? I feel like you're upset.
I don't know. I think it just wasn't. I don't know. It was.
What's wrong?
I don't feel like I can like.
I can cut it if we.
No, I know, but I'm trying to find a way to say it in a way that's not just like so upset, so that like I could like share an honest opinion of the film without it being like weird.
Okay, why are you upset?
I'm not sure why it upset me so much. I'm trying to like.
The movie did? I feel like this would be interesting if you wanted to talk.
Okay, but you have to cut it if I...
Yeah, I can cut anything. That's why we're talking. Why did it upset you so much? Because you're having an emotional reaction.
Yeah.
And you seem more mad, honestly, than...
Yeah. Okay, maybe if I just say it, like, too harsh, then I can find, and you can cut that. And I can, like... I just, like, it really, like, upset me, because, like... I don't think Scorsese makes, like, unbiased narratives, which I think would be fascinating if he did.
Okay.
I feel like he's, like, an old white guy from a cult. Like, he is a product of his upbringing and his culture in the country, but I feel like he is very toxically masculine and feeding and fueling that being cool with everything he makes. And I think he does wish he was a gangster.
Yeah.
And I think he does wish he was a Wall Street tycoon. And I'm not saying like I've never wanted to, but like I feel like he's like, no, it's it. But like I feel like there's an underlying tone to all of his work that upsets me because it's like icky.
Because you feel like it's praising these guys.
Yeah, I feel like he thinks these guys are so cool. And I feel like De Niro thinks he's so cool when he's... Like, I just feel like there's so many people and people I know who legitimately think these guys are cool. And I feel like Scorsese makes movies that makes them seem cool. And I think that's so terrible and icky and scary and upsetting. Because it's not...
Yeah.
And there's just so much wrong with our country. And like, it's just, these movies are not helping. There's no point to them. There's no good in them aside from things that are like editing and music, like things that aren't the story. I feel like the stories are destructive and bad. And like,
I don't necessarily disagree with you, and I can't disagree with your feelings at all.
Well, yeah, you can have different feelings though, but
I don't necessarily disagree in the sense that I do think a lot of the people that I know that like Goodfellas and like Wolf of Wall Street, they are idolizing these men.
Yeah.
And that, you're right, is problematic because these are problematic characters.
Yeah.
I like to give the benefit of the doubt and hope that he's just trying to show them, but he does make them seem cool as fuck.
Yeah, and at no point are they actually torn down.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. And I see and hear you. I do think that your perspective is interesting. I don't want to I hate what I'm about to say. Because I don't want you, obviously you don't speak for women of any kind.
No, yeah.
But
this is
your perspective as a woman watching Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street is different than the perspective of all the male dudes I know that are want to be alpha male dudes that love these films. It is interesting to me that your female perspective is these are dangerous movies.
Yeah. These are making the men that women are scared of. The men in these movies are the men women are scared of.
Yeah. Henry Hill is a terrible person for women.
Yeah.
I mean, you see him beat his wife.
Yeah.
You see him with his mistresses. He cheats on his wife. He's a monster. Yeah.
Now, so just to because I feel like my personal female perspective, though, also is not and I'll just use Scarface as an example, that I'm not anti-violent movies with gross bad people in them.
Yeah.
Because Scarface is but Scarface to me is a very satisfying film because it has, which it is inspired instead of actual truth. It's inspired by, just like Citizen Kane. It's not an actual stick to the narrative, because it's the same story. It's this guy who rises from nothing through crime because he has no other routes to disgusting excess, but then it destroys him and he dies.
What's great about both Citizen Kane and Scarface are the guys those movies are based on were still alive when the filmmakers decided, no, we need to have the conclusion to this.
I feel like they were well, no, this is a bad guy, and bad guys need to die. This is we're gonna make fun of them. We're gonna show how ridiculous it is, and we're gonna end it tragically because
it's the Disney idea of you have to show evil in films because you have to show that good can conquer evil.
Yeah,
where these films don't really do that, but they also don't have this evil prevails, really just negative aspect to them. And that's why I just wonder if there's this odd documentary-esque ambivalence.
If we're just gonna unfairly compare people, which I don't like to do with artists, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Adam McKay does the same thing Scorsese does. Okay, sorry.
Well, no, I'm gonna listen.
You made a face.
Well, yeah, because I don't think he does.
Well, no, I was gonna say he does it better.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. I don't know.
Well, I think Adam McKay's films are an indictment of some of the characters he is discussing.
Yeah, he's telling stories that are true.
Yes.
But he's not encouraging you to glorify bad people.
Correct. You're correct. But that's what I'm saying, is that's why I think he's doing something different than Scorsese. Because I think I truly think Scorsese's goal is a fly on the wall, naturalistic, this is the real life of this person. No, I don't think he's putting anything on top of it. Except maybe just that slight bit of inherited toxic masculinity that he, like you very fairly said, was taught.
Yeah, I'm not saying
and he grew up in and is a product of.
Yeah.
So I think that ends up in his films.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's purposefully glorifying these people. I don't think. So I think he has a fascination with them. Let's get him on the podcast. Let's see if he'll sit down with us.
The aesthetic of his films.
Okay.
Whether or not the narrative glorifies those lives, the way he shoots it does. Because the way is it Noah Baumbach?
Yeah.
Shoots his films.
Marriage Story.
Is fly on the wall observational narrative, because he's not making it look appealing. He's not making it, which, like, that's like really objective stylistically as well. The way it's a completely different, I'm also, but like the way Wolf of Wall Street is shot, you could say, yeah, it's to show but like it's the way it's delivered to you. It's served in a manner that just inherently makes you want it. What these people have. Yeah. Which I think also, which Scarface was also just shot. I don't know.
Is that, so I'll ask with...
Because I feel like aesthetically, Scarface is icky in a way that serves the narrative being tragic.
Honestly, I think the thing that is... I have a couple questions.
Okay.
One thought is it inherently glamorized because the things they're doing have to do with money and all of this wealth and opulence in Goodfellas and Wolf, compared to like a Noah Baumbach film where he is showing generally middle-class people? I think that's one thing. I think Scarface looks icky because of the contrast. There's this like heightened contrast that like shows all of... It's like when you like put structure on like an Instagram photo up to 100 and she's like, God, all my pores. I don't want to see all those. And the whole movie you're just like, Al Pacino and like everything else. But then my next interesting question that I have, like, am curious about is, what do you think bristles you against something like a Goodfellas where you do enjoy a Godfather?
When I watched Godfather, I didn't feel like I was being sold something. And I just feel that way when... I could be wrong. When I watch Godfather, I don't feel like the people making it wish they were those people. And that's like unfair of me to presume people's motivations. Yeah. But like, that's how I feel when I watch a Scorsese film versus a Coppola film. Okay. And also the way Godfather's shot, it's shot and lit. It just feels more like, I don't know. It feels different than Wolf of Wall Street.
And Goodfellas.
I don't feel like I'm being sold a product.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing people living hard lives and making hard decisions. Whereas in this also, which this is the character traits and it's based on a true story, I didn't feel like anybody ever made hard decisions. It didn't feel like they were forced into a life of crime and it was hard and they, you know, it was just, they didn't care about anything, which is such a...
Henry Hill kind of floats around to success and then does what he wants to keep gaining more success.
Yeah. You're with zero struggle since he was 13, and he didn't care that people were dying, and he didn't care when he saw a guy was shot for the first time, and it's just he's just too cool for that. Versus in Godfather, I don't know. I feel like people suffer.
Actually, okay, so I think you figured it out then, is where this is just a display of a man's life. Yeah. Godfather is about the internal emotions of these men in this environment. And it really is. Yeah. It's all about what's going on internally and all the small little things that all of these guys are doing every minute that kind of leads to all sorts of...
It's not a flashy piece, and they don't seem cool. They're not
I mean, none of them seem happy.
Cool. Yeah, they're not cool. They're not happy. They're not having fun. I don't think you watch Godfather and want to be in the way that...
I mean, nobody wants to be Sonny. The one, and he's the one that you see beat a wife, and you're like, oh, Sonny's the worst. Yeah. James Caan's the best guy ever. I love James Caan, but I don't want to be Sonny.
I also don't know people. I personally feel like I don't hear people talk about the characters in The Godfather the way they talk about the characters in Scorsese movies. Like, they've bought a product, he sold them.
You're so right. They've bought a lifestyle. Yeah. That he sold. That that's so interesting, because you're right, in both of them he does sell a lifestyle and then shows you how great everyone who's living this lifestyle is having it.
Yeah. And that nothing bad can really happen to you if you're one of these cool, powerful white guys. Even the worst thing that can happen to you, it's no big deal because we're cool. It's no big deal. We'll complain about the food.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they went to a prison that was not prison.
Yeah.
And then same with Wolf.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Yeah.
Even though that was scary and hard. Al Pacino apparently turned down a role in this movie. That's one of my first pieces of trivia.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny because Scorsese had already done quite a few.
At the time, he didn't want to be typecast.
I understand.
All the gangster dudes worry about that every once in a while. And Scorsese was obviously worrying about it, the fact that he didn't want to make this movie at first.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta turned down the role of being Harvey Dent in Tim Burton's Batman.
Oh, wow.
Which I think, like, honestly, Ray Liotta would make an awesome Two-Face.
He does such a good job of being so scary. But he's also, like...
super fun to be around.
Super, like, nice. Yeah, he's
and
got
he can flip it.
Alarming range.
And he's got that switch though that you see.
Yeah.
And I think that would be great for Two-Face.
Yeah.
Which Tim Burton's movies never made it to a Two-Face.
Sure.
And we also got to have Billy D. Williams Harvey Dent, which is awesome. Which is
great. I love Billy D. Williams.
And also. I wish we would have seen his Two-Face.
Very, very much so. No, Ray Liotta was a joy to watch in this film. Be like, we're so chill, we're so chubby. Oh, we're killing a guy now? Okay, I'll lock the door. Like, he's...
Yep.
It was quite scary. He did a very good job.
Yep.
Excellent actor.
Fuck is said 321 times.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's it. That's just a couple times.
In 2.5 hours?
For an average of 2.04 fucks a minute.
Oh. Has someone made a compilation already on YouTube? Because
I don't know.
That would be quite... I bet I would laugh quite hard.
Apparently,
more than I should.
The original script before improvisation had 70 fucks. But you give actors the okay to improv.
And every other word's going to be fuck.
The fucks just come out. Joe Pesci says approximately half of the 321 fucks.
That does not surprise me. Which is... Well, it kind of does, though, because his screen time is not even half the movie. So he fit half the fucks into his relatively small screen time.
Knowing that trivia, there were some moments where he would say like fuck 5 times in a row, and I was like, that's how he made it. Like
that's how he fit him in.
Yeah, I was like, there was like at least 6 fucks in that second. Like
that takes care of a couple minutes of the movie.
The writer of the book, Wise Guys, and the co-screenwriter of this movie, whose last name is really hard to say, so I'm going to quit saying it.
Yeah.
Apparently he was in close contact with Henry Hill the entire time while like writing the script and everything.
Gotcha.
And even most of the narration is just direct quotes from him sitting and listening to Henry Hill talk.
Oh.
So that I found interesting.
Yeah.
You'll like this.
What?
This will make you like Scorsese. Just the smallest bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just the smallest. Joe Pesci's mom in the movie. So Tommy's mom. Because Joe Pesci's Tommy.
Oh, okay, sure.
Joe Pesci's mom.
Yeah.
Is Scorsese's real mom.
That's adorable. She was adorable.
Isn't she so cute?
She was great.
She's actually in like a lot of his stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's put her in a bunch, including like some of his early movies where like I said, him kind of shooting his family.
Do you know if she acted besides in her son's stuff? Because she's fun.
I didn't really look into it.
She's good. I would never have guessed she was a non-actress if she is a non-actress. If she is an actress, that's adorable. She's in all her son's stuff. And
the guy who puts too much onion in the spaghetti sauce, that's Scorsese's dad.
It's adorable.
And like looking at him, he looks just like him.
I was not looking at him at that point in the film, really. Like
he's got like 3 seconds of screen time.
Yeah, but now I want to go back and look.
See, now you like him just a little bit more, don't you? No, okay, that's fine. If I'm just reading these in order, I did while I was researching for this. I found the next movie we should do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next movie you should show me because I haven't seen it, but we need to watch it.
I
think it'd be a good pairing with this film.
Okay.
Is My Blue Heaven.
I was thinking as we watched this movie, and he was complaining about going into the witness protection program. I was like, I have to make Patrick watch My Blue Heaven.
So, My Blue Heaven is written by Nora Ephron, wife
She's great.
of Nicholas Pileggi, and it's about Henry Hill.
No.
Yes.
See, that's how you do a movie inspired by real life.
Apparently, Henry Hill likes Goodfellas.
Uh-huh.
He does not like My Blue Heaven.
See, that's also how you're supposed to make a movie about a bad person. I love that.
Yeah, Nora Ephron thought of it while her husband was on the phone with Henry Hill all the time, and he would always complain about his production, and like she talks to Henry on the phone a lot, and so she wrote a movie about Henry Hill in witness protection.
I already loved Nora Ephron, but oh my lord. I mean, I would not be happy either if they made a movie like that about me because he's ridiculous.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll shut up. We'll do it.
Don't you think it would be a good
we
next
should
episode?
do it next because that's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm already excited. We don't even have
Yeah,
to do the intro.
yeah.
Like,
Oh my god, it's such a good movie.
yeah.
I had no idea.
So, U.S. Attorney Edward McDonald, Edward McDonald, is the guy who puts him in witness protection.
Okay.
He's played by himself.
What?
Yeah, that's U.S. Attorney Edward McDonald playing himself in the witness protection scene.
Oh, okay.
Which is just interesting to watch, knowing it was him, because he's really good.
Yeah.
I think because like he's had that conversation 100 times, and with Henry Hill. So that's a fun bit of trivia.
Yeah.
And the more fun bit of trivia is, according to Edward McDonald, the bit that they don't show in the movie that he was really disappointed about is that sitting outside that room while they had their conversation were Henry Hill's two mistresses that Henry wanted to take with his wife and his family into witness protection.
See, this man deserved to have My Blue Heaven made about him.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I'll tell you, we'll talk more about My Blue Heaven next episode.
We will.
Everyone can get excited to listen to the next episode right now. I can't wait.
Which is, for those of you that don't know, besides being a Nora Ephron film, it is a Steve Martin, Rick Moranis film. Yes. So get excited.
Tony Lip was the doorman at the Copacabana.
Okay.
Apparently he's in this movie when they're at the Copacabana. Tony Lip is the guy Green Book is about.
Oh, okay.
Like the guy that Viggo Mortensen plays in Green Book, driving Mahershala Ali around.
Gotcha.
Apparently he's in the movie.
Oh, okay.
For like 2 seconds.
Gotcha.
Because the Copacabana scene's the one where they enter through the back. Yeah.
It was a really cool shot.
Yeah. Supposedly that whole shot came about because for some reason they like somehow procured the Copacabana to shoot at, but they weren't allowed to go in the front door. And like as you see that scene, there's a giant line out the door of Copacabana. I think they were just open.
Oh.
So they weren't allowed to go in through the front door at all. And so
they were like, we'll let you traipse through the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like put up the table and do all that stuff with the Steadicam, but like they weren't able to get the people out of the doorway, it seems like.
Oh.
And so they created this whole shot where like he kind of improvised walking through, giving everyone money and like hanging out, because like that created an even better feeling than if they just got in the front door of Copacabana.
Oh yeah, that would have been so like cliche, and this is so like such a cool like fun shot.
I mean, it's the shot you'd seen.
Yeah.
So that's cool about the Copacabana.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it only took like 8 takes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Me too.
That's low for that kind of shot, and it's so clean and perfect.
I remembered one of the other shots I'd shown you.
I wonder which take that was.
7.
That it always
because you always think you're going to do.
You're getting better and better and better. You're like, we can do better, and then you do worse, and you're like, yeah, we're done. We quit.
Yep. Yeah, that was the best one. Yep,
we did it. You're right. Yep. It was 7. Obviously, it was take 7.
I realized another shot that I'd shown you which is the shot where she's like signing in, and you see like when she's visiting him in prison.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to like reproduce a shot similar to it in She Loves Me, She Loves Me Not, and we never really got it.
No.
It doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But I wish we had.
We'll do it something.
It's fine. Okay, so in the scene where Spider gets shot.
Yes.
Okay, you remember who Spider is?
The foot.
Yeah, the foot. So when they were filming his death scene, apparently during shooting, he cut his hand on a piece of glass, and he ended up having to go to the hospital.
Oh.
While at the hospital, he apparently had some sort of prosthetics on him still, and the doctor thought that he was like trying to cover up that he had a gunshot wound, and the doctor really wanted to treat this gunshot wound that Spider had. But he was like trying to like explain, no, like I was on film set, like this is all fake, like, and this is just, and it ended up taking almost 3 hours to get Spider out of the ER because of them thinking he'd been in gang related violence or some sort of mob violence.
Oh, jeez. Poor Spider.
Yeah, poor little kid. He's
real life and movie life.
Yeah. So this DVD has some cool special features. It's got a cast and crew commentary, but it also has a Henry Hill and an FBI guy do a commentary. I haven't listened to it, but it's there. And so I just wanted to let people know that if you buy the special edition DVD or the Blu-ray release, it's got the Henry Hill commentary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which is just so weird to me.
Yeah.
To talk about how weird Henry Hill has kind of become post Goodfellas, is that he ended up being kicked out of the witness protection program because he couldn't stop telling people that Goodfellas was about him. And like he couldn't stop doing like press about Goodfellas and like talking about Goodfellas. And so they're like, we can't.
Yeah, that's fair.
You made a 2.5 hour movie about yourself.
Yeah.
And now you're going around telling everyone it's you.
Yeah.
We can't, like, no. This is impossible. You can't with Henry Hill. The big heist they did, though, like, was apparently one of the biggest heists in American history, like they say.
It's crazy.
It was an open investigation all the way up until 2014 even. Some people were still arrested in 2014 over it.
It's crazy.
Like, it was a big deal.
So it was in the 80s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another interesting thing about this movie,
yeah,
which I think is probably because they were talking to Henry Hill, and it's like from Henry's point of view. If you notice, he never kills anyone. But other people around him do a lot. So I just find that interesting, and it feels you know what I mean? It feels intentional.
Yeah.
Also, but like as Martin, you kind of, if you're trying to make them like him.
Yeah.
If you want the audience to not hate him.
Yeah.
It's harder when he kills someone. Or if he were to kill someone. But even then, he still beats his wife and does other stuff. And...
Yeah. Also, like, it's... Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. That's... Yeah. I'm out of words.
Do you want to talk about killing people on screen, whether or not you can be likable?
Yeah, because, like... the thing about this film is that it is... I feel like it is slanted towards not wanting him to be too much of a bad guy. You know, they're trying to make you, they're selling him to you versus like people do love a good bad guy though. People love Darth Vader. People you can have a character that is like typically not as the lead, but people do love a good bad guy.
Yeah,
if it's a true bad guy. But
Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, in this they were trying to walk a line though that like they could like kind of pretend as bad as some of the guys.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, which could have just been because like, oh well, this is what he told us.
Yeah.
So that's the information we have. It's him being like, oh, I wasn't as bad as some other guys. So
I wasn't Tommy who was just killing everybody randomly.
Yeah.
Is it Jimmy that's De Niro's character?
I think so. Yeah.
He's
Jimmy.
crazy.
But, like, who knows? Because if you only talk to the one person.
There's like a throwaway line about like shaving points on baseball. There's like a throwaway line about shaving points on baseball.
Okay.
You don't even hear it if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
It's in the scene right before they killed the guy who like planned the big heist.
Okay.
Somebody goes, "Oh, did you hear about the points for shaving?" Like this thing.
Yeah.
That is like such a big like little like heist thingy thing that the ESPN series 30 on 30 or 30 for 30, whatever it is. It's a sports documentary series. They did an episode about the like baseball shaving points, like Goodfellas gangsters thing, because it's a real thing. Like that was a real thing they did, where they were like somehow I guess they were changing the points in games, like setting games up to go their way. Okay. Similar to how gangsters do it in boxing. Oh, okay. In movies, but they were doing it with baseball.
Cool.
Yeah. There's a whole documentary about it, apparently.
Goodness. Too weird.
Yeah. That's a lot of the facts I have. You've now seen Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Didn't love it. Wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me. I'm more of a either the extreme farce of My Blue Heaven or the extreme tragedy of Scarface, I guess. I don't enjoy the observational middle of the road as much, which some people do. That's fine. It was a very well-made film with incredible acting, incredible directing even. Like, I'll give it up that he's a great director. He
really is.
Don't really...
Because his actors give performances in his films that I feel like are better than in other films that they do.
I think he's definitely a good director. I think it was objectively a good film. It's just definitely not for me.
Yeah.
His narrative choices are not things that I like.
I mean, on Indie, I've gotten into the argument with a couple of guests even, where they're like, "Oh, Goodfellas." I'm like, "Yeah, Goodfellas." And then we have to like do the thing. Because like, it's just like, I've watched it twice before this. Yeah. And it is a thing that I watched and I'm like, oh, the filmmaking is really interesting and the acting is really good, but I just don't, it doesn't do it for me.
It's objectively, critically, technically a good well-made film. So was Gone with the Wind, but but it doesn't, that for me, for Gone with the Wind did not the technical quality of the film did not override some of the negatives of the content.
Well, and Gone with the Wind even, I think, was an interesting one because, like, there's so much troublesome content that you can't get over.
It's so bad.
But their narrative arc still almost works.
Yeah. It feels more... She feels more crazed and tragic and desperate at the end, at least.
And you're following an emotional journey.
Yeah, she cares.
Goodfellas is removed from emotion.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
There is no emotional arc of Goodfellas.
Yeah.
It's a factual arc.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, that's the thing, is it doesn't move me emotionally.
Yeah.
Because who would you emotionally be tied to?
I mean, the lead character's not even emotionally tied to anything.
Yeah. Because even when he learns that Joe Pesci's dead, he was like, there's nothing we could have done. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think that's the core of it, really, is there's just no...
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I love you.
I love you.
It's always great chatting with you.
It was. The food was incredible. The cannolis
How was the cannoli?
So good. It was so good. Oh my gosh. The pasta was so good. Your bolognese was so good. The cannolis were so good. It was just a lovely dinner.
Gluten-free cannoli worked out?
Much. It did.
Good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
You're very talented.
I don't need that. I'm just glad that you enjoyed it.
I did. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the movie too, even, you know, like.
And I truly love just discussing movies because I think this is what should be done after movies because they are an art form and art should be talked about. Yeah. Regardless of if your reaction was negative.
Yeah, and everyone should make their art, regardless of if I like it. Like, everybody should make their art.
Exactly.
Nothing's for everybody.
Yeah.
This wasn't for me, but I'm happy he's out there making his art.
Yeah. Well, thank you to whoever's listening. Thank you so much. Yeah. Like we always say at the beginning, like, subscribe, review, rate.
Please do.
And if you love us, go to our Patreon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.